Hey, how long is this gonna take? Hey, it's Care. Welcome to my take at the lake. Working on my Ugly Betty book. Not sure if you remember, and this is just a voiceover, so none of the sound is gonna go along with the video. I'll show you some of my favorite toys. Cheap little ink pad that I got in a grab bag. And my favorite maple leaf stamp. And what I've done with it. Simple stuff. No rocket science here. I love using the 4-colored pad just haphazardly, so the leaf has all different colors in it. It's great fun. Anyway, this is something new. I've never really done voiceover before, so forgive the clunkiness of this video. I wanted to show you my Ugly Betty project. Ugly Betty is my first junk journal that I made. I had watched tons and tons and tons of videos and finally just decided it was time to stop watching videos and make one of these beautiful creations. But I was a little precious about all of my favorite tools and papers and whatnot. So I decided I would go through all of my stuff and find the most hideous, ugly stuff that I could find that I knew I may never use because I didn't particularly like it. I figured if I used all that stuff, well, I wasn't out anything. And so I made Ugly Betty. And periodically I just take her out and I work on her. She ended up being all fall colors. Lots of yellows and oranges and burnt pumpkin color, and that's a whole nother lesson, and she's turning out a lot prettier than I expected her to. Again, that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day, so maybe I will use the rest of this video for that talk. What I wanted to talk to you about today is, as I said at the beginning and as says somewhere in the title or thumbnail, it's all about timing. And I've read recently several people comment in YouTube videos about, why is this taking so long? Does it take everyone else this long? It takes Pam at the Paper Outpost 30 minutes and she's got a beautiful thing, and it takes me 4 hours. Why is that? And I hear the frustration and I totally understand it. In my day job, I teach people about creativity and rediscovering their inner creativity and trusting their inner creative instincts. And I've also taught people watercolor, pen and ink, creative writing, all kinds of creative endeavors over the last 30 years. And so I wanted to address this. This isn't a how-to crafty video, obviously, but I think it's important for new junk journalers or people who are new to paper crafting or new to anything, really. But this channel is specifically for people who are sort of new to junk journaling. How long is it going to take? Why is it taking the person I'm watching no time at all, and it's taking me bloody forever? Why is that? And we tend to judge ourselves based on how long things take. And we shouldn't. And I just want to talk a little bit about that in hopes that this will help you kind of get over that comparison. And by comparison, we're really kind of hard on ourselves as a result of that. She can do it in 10 and it takes me an hour comparison. So a couple of things are at play here, and I'm going to use Pam at the Paper Outpost because, as y'all know, I watch her obsessively, and she is quick. One of the reasons I watch her is because she is quick. At least she keeps her videos quick. I see Pam do something in 30 minutes, and I'll see another YouTuber take an hour and a half video to do the same thing. Why is that? Partially, I think, if you watch Pam, you know, her camera used to not let her do anything longer than 30 minutes. So she had to get in and get out. those kind of constraints are very helpful when it comes to creativity. If you have all the time in the world, and this doesn't have anything to do with crafting, it's some sort of phenomenon, and I know there's a name for it. I'm not going to be able to pull it out of my hat this morning. But if we don't set constraints and we have all day to do a 10-minute project, it will take us all day to do that 10-minute project. If we set a timer and say this project has to be done in 10 minutes, well, we tend to get her done. It's something how our brain works. So, Pam used that constraint. It's kind of a external constraint in that she didn't choose it. Her phone's camera picked it for her. And so she learned early on to get everything she wanted to say said and everything she wanted to do done in 30 minutes. The other constraint Pam has on her side, in timing especially, is because she doesn't edit her videos. She said several times she tried it, she couldn't figure it out, took too long, she didn't like it, whatever. She doesn't edit her videos. And so again, she's got to say what she wants to say, do what she wants to do, because she can't put it in later or cut it down later. It is what it is. At the end of 30 minutes, when her phone shuts off, stops recording, boom, post it. Sometimes she has to do another video. So those constraints are very helpful with creativity. To the original question, why is it taking Pam only 10 minutes or 30 minutes and it's taking me so much longer? You have to consider she's been doing it a lot longer than you have, probably, at least these specific subjects. And practice over time, of course, increases speed. Looking at this video here, working with Ugly Betty, just thinking around with this envelope, there's 1,000 little decisions. Should I tear it? Should I not? Should I put it on the front? Should I put it on the back? Should I ink it all or just the edges? Do I fold it this way? Is this a better front or is that a better front? Should I have it here or should I have it there? And you see, any project that we do has thousands of micro decisions that need to be made. Think for just a few minutes about when you were learning to drive. Do you remember that? If it was just last week, this isn't going to really apply to you. But for most of us, I think the age group that I see in this community has been driving a while, let's just say. And when we first started driving, I don't know about you, but I don't think I'm alone in this. There were so many things to remember. Just getting in the car. You had to get in, adjust the seat, make sure you could reach the gas, make sure you could reach the brake. If you were driving a stick, make sure you knew where the clutch was. So you had to adjust the seat, put on your seatbelt, safety first. Usually in driving school or when we were driving, we didn't have our own car. So we had to adjust the mirrors so that we could see. We had to adjust the right one, we had to adjust the middle one, and we had to adjust the left one. We had to then decide, get our one foot, ideally, to learn where the brake was and where the gas was and which to use when. It sounds simple and stupid, but we'd never driven a car, some of us, before, and so we had to learn all of those things. Left and right turn signal, how do you know? There's Ugly Betty. Whoo, she bright. Whoo, I just used ugly stuff, just junk. Left turn, something shiny. Anyway, coming back to driving, there were all these things that we had to consider before we even started the thing. I could never remember which way the up and down. Why isn't a blinker left and right? since it's signaling left and right, why is every blinker up and down? Oh my God, that drove me bananas. It didn't make any sense, and I could never remember which one it was. Now fast forward to yesterday when you got in your car, or this morning when you got in your car. Do you give any of that any thought? No, it's your car. The mirrors are probably set where you set them. Or if it's a newer car, it adjusts everything for you for each driver. So you don't have to think about it. Do you think about which way the blinker light goes up for right and down for left? You don't think about it. You just do it. You don't have to think about, because you've done it a million times, right? So newbie junk journalers looking at someone like Pam at the Paper Outpost, who's been doing this a long time, saying, why is it taking me so long when she can do it in under 30 minutes? All those micro decisions, what color papers to use, do I stick, even here, I'm figuring out, what do I want to cover up on that newspaper? Should the newspaper go this way or that? Should it go behind? Do I want that caramel? I mean, there's so many decisions to make. Now, the newbie tends to labor over every decision because we want it to be just right. We want it to feel right. And we don't have that gut instinct yet that Pam has. Or any of the people that we watch. I'm using Pam because she's a great example of getting things done and getting things done fast. If you watch her productivity, holy smokes, she's like a one-person production facility. It is mind-blowing how much she gets done. But again, the more you do, the better you are at it. The better you are at it, the faster you get at it. It's what's called a competence loop. At first, we don't have a lot of confidence, and so we labor over every one of those little tiny decisions. But every time we make one, it builds that decision-making muscle. And the more we do it, the more second nature it becomes, like driving. We don't even think about driving anymore. We talk on the phone or we listen to an audiobook. I have a friend who used to knit while she drove across country by herself. She wasn't knitting in the passenger seat. She was knitting while she was driving from Michigan to California. Frightening, I know. We don't think about driving anymore because it is in our muscle memory, which is incredibly powerful. Our fingers and our hands know more. I've adopted all of Pam's glue habits. Our memory, our muscle memory, our fingers and our hands know often before our mind knows. You know, like in the morning when I'm making my coffee, and if I'm kind of still drowsy and whatnot, my hands will go for the creamer before my brain will say you need creamer, right? Same thing in junk journaling. The more of these decisions you make, the more of this that you do, the more second nature it will become. Another part of the problem, I think, in looking at the most current people that we watch, the people who we watch on YouTube, whether we're learning how to detail cars or make junk journals or sew or garden, we're looking at where they're at today and comparing ourselves today to them. I highly encourage you to look at your favorite junk journal or whatever hobby you're learning. Look at your favorite YouTuber. When you go to their channel, go under videos. There's a setting. It looks kind of like an equalizer. In old vehicles and on old stereos, they had an equalizer setting. It looks kind of like that. And you can set it to look at the videos by most popular, look at the newest first, or look at the oldest first. Click on oldest first, and the first one that will pop up is the oldest one posted to their channel. Might not be their first one, because I know a lot of people go back and delete those cringy nasty, embarrassingly stupid videos that we first posted. However, if they've been posting for any amount of time, you'll see a progression immediately, because you watch their most recent one this morning and now you're going to look at their oldest one. You'll see a huge difference. So at the very least, stop comparing yourself today to where your teachers are today. Compare yourself today to where your teachers were way back then. Massive difference. Better still, don't compare yourself to today to anybody except who you were yesterday. Are you a little faster at it today? Are you a little more comfortable with it today than you were yesterday or last week or 6 months ago or 2 years ago? That's why it's so important to date your projects and to keep track of them either through video or photos, because a lot of them we give away, we sell, and that we lose track of our progress by not having anything of our own to compare to today versus yesterday, today versus last year at this time. That's a big thing, because we can't feel progress. We feel like we're not getting anywhere. We feel like we're not improving until we look back. And often we don't look back. We look sideways. What are they doing? How come she's doing better? How come she can do it faster? That's not fair to our newbie learning selves. We have to be so proud that we're learning new skills and we're taking those steps, and at least we're trying. And yeah, we might not be as fast as our favorite teacher or our favorite hero in whatever area we're striving to learn in. Because junk journaling is not the only thing we're learning. I'm learning how to edit videos, and I'm learning how to be a YouTuber, and I'm starting a podcast, and I have how to build a website, and we're learning stuff all the time. And in all of those areas, we tend to compare ourselves to people we emulate. And that's such a knock to our ever so fragile ego. When we look at someone who we admire, what they do or their work, and we think, oh my God, I could never do that. I could never be that good. And quit, sadly. Give up, because we're never going to be that good. We might not be that good. We're going to be better at something we do, which is, again, a whole nother conversation about being an original you versus a sad copycat of someone you emulate, you admire. So how long is it going to take? It's going to take as long as it takes. Enjoy the process. The product or project will take care of itself. Like Pam says, create with reckless abandon. Creativity can be fun. The other thing that Pam does that I think speeds her up a lot, speeds up her work. I know, because I'm human. I look at her and me too. Oh God, look at a butterfly and a botanical in where she at? She's in my ugly Betty. I love butterflies. I do. I love butterflies. I'm just tired of seeing them in every single project that ever is created. There, I said it again. Sorry. Hashtag enough with the botanicals and butterflies. But look, I have a lot of these that I kept from before, and it matches perfectly. Speaking of matches, that's another thing that Pam has on me specifically as far as time. Pam rocks at just taking whatever is near her within arm's reach and putting it together and having it turn out beautifully. My brain won't allow me to work that way. My brain likes matchy-matchy coordinating. And that takes, pardon me, a hell of a lot more time. Because when I pull something off my desk or out of my pile, if it doesn't coordinate or match, my brain says, oh, I'll find something else. And that takes time. That takes time. Another thing that she also has that is different and takes time from that it changes the how fast she can do it versus how fast other people can do it is, again, she works from her, like, a lot of times there's a pile on her desk because she is creating with reckless abandon, and she is making hay all the time. She's making hay. Sun don't matter. She's just working it all the time. So there's stuff out all the time. I clean up every time I stop a project. I put everything away. Holy Hannah, does that take time? But I can't tell you the joy that it brings me to look into my studio and see it pristine. Plus, my studio is not only my crafting room, but it's also the place that I record my teaching videos. And I don't want all my crafting stuff out when I'm teaching other things. So it has to be put away. Plus, it just brings me great joy to look into my room and see it nice and clean and wonderful. It makes my heart glad. That takes a lot of time. So when I'm doing a project, I have to get stuff out. That takes a lot of time. In the middle of a project, I have to go find some matchy coordinating. I know it's here somewhere. Embellishment. That takes time. So realistically, it's going to take you as long as it takes you, because you make decisions at a different pace. Eventually, you'll get faster. The more you do it, the more those decisions will become second nature. You won't even think about them anymore. You'll just be playing and enjoying, which I encourage you to do anyway. So your stuff is in different places. You may have to gather things. Your brain works differently. You're not under the 30-minute guideline, timeline, deadline that Pam is, or that other people make for themselves. The other thing, one more thing that Pam does, I've not seen it in a lot of other YouTube videos, something she always calls, here's prototype. So she makes, I don't know, depending on what it is, if it's a little embellishment, she'll make 10 or 15 of them. Or if it's a mini little book, she'll make 3 or 4 or 5 of them and then show you the process. So already she's made those decisions. She's already done it. She's got the stuff out and ready at arm's reach. That speeds things up considerably. You sitting down, gathering all your stuff, making your very first one ever, of course it's going to be slower. Of course it is. Don't be so hard on yourself. Be easy on yourself. Be proud of yourself that you're doing new things and you're learning and you're stretching your boundaries and you're expanding past what you already know and do automatically. And give yourself credit for the things you already do automatically, things you're already good at. We have a tendency to poo-poo our own strengths and our own talents and our own ideas simply because they're ours. Simply because they're ours. We have to be, again, easier on ourselves. If you were talking to your very best friend who was taking something new on and saying, I don't know why it takes me so long. I must be stupid. I must be slow. I'm just not getting this. Or we're so hard on ourselves internally. If our friend was saying that out loud, what would we say to them? We'd comfort them and say, don't be so hard on yourself. You're doing great. At least you're trying. We need to be our own best friend in that sense. We need to be okay with learning. Be okay with how fast or slow we are. Some people worry, it took her 30 minutes, it takes me 10. What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? Because it takes Pam 30 and it took them 10 or 15. You're not doing anything wrong. Timing is very personal and very subject to things that are outside of our control. So again, how long is it going to take? It takes as long as it takes. Just have fun. Enjoy the process. The project will take care of itself. It'll come along. You will get faster. You'll make those decisions faster. You'll have a process down. Again, Pam's been doing this a very long time, so she has a bit of a process in place, just by nature of practice over time, practice over time, practice over time. I'm not sure if I've mentioned this here or not, but there's a watercolorist. Her name is, hang on, I will look her up and put a picture of her up here for you. She's a watercolorist, and you might not be into learning watercolor at all, but I've watched her since she started her YouTube channel, and she paints every day and she posts a lot, and the progress she has made is fantastic. Again, look at her channel, go to her videos list, it just is videos, organize it from oldest to newest, look at where she started, look at a few of those first videos of hers, look at her just her thumbnails. You can see the work that she's doing, and then flip it from oldest to newest, from to newest to oldest, and look where she's at today. It is amazing to see. And that's the case no matter what we're doing. If we do it consistently over time, you can't help but get better at it and faster at it. You got this. You got this. This is all good. Don't worry about the time. Worry about, am I having fun? Am I enjoying this process? If so, onward. Go forth and create and enjoy and just relax. That's what this is all about. Just relaxing. That's it for today. I hope this helps. Watch for more of these, because I see a lot of my day job bleeding into this channel as well. They kind of go hand in hand. Thank you again for tuning in, and I appreciate everyone who is subscribing. This is going to be a great ride. I have much coming for you. Creativity podcast on the way. Lots coming for this particular channel. A different channel starting up about creativity for quote-unquote non-creatives. Learning to rediscover and trust that inner innate creativity that we are all born with. That is why this channel exists. Funny, this channel took off for me. I decided to do this channel before I did that one, which is so bizarre. But anyway, I appreciate your time. Now go play. You have a lovely crafty day. Relax. Take the clock out of the craft room. My take at the lake. Out for now.